Sojourn with the Lord.
In today's Gospel passage, Jesus invites us to live in an expectation of His second coming and be prepared for that by making an out of court settlement, which is the right decision for ourselves. The passage puts before us two questions for our reflection. Jesus asks, "Why do you not know how to interpret the present time? And why do you not judge for yourselves what is right?" Jesus rebuked his listeners because they are good at reading the weather signs, and they were not equally good at reading the signs that are taking place before their very eyes. Jesus has been performing one sign after another, yet they do not seem to be able to see the clear hand of God in what he does. They were in the Messianic age, that was the specialty of their time. They should have understood the obvious signs confirming Jesus as the promised Messiah. The specialty of our time is that we are in expectation of the second coming of Jesus. In our present times, there are many reasons to believe that Jesus is coming soon, adding to our sense of urgency as we hope to discern this time. None of these guarantees that the return of Jesus is soon. The exact time, it is possible that in the wisdom of God. After telling the idea of interpreting the time, Jesus used a vivid illustration to point out the urgency of getting right with God, the out of court settlement. If you were up against a bad cause and were likely to get severely penalized, would you not try to settle the case out of court to avoid a worse penalty? Each of us stands in constant need of God's love and mercy. His light reveals what is in our hearts, and His grace frees us from the tyranny of sin. We must get right with God before He comes as a judge. Jesus here alluded to the idea that there is a price to be paid, because payment for sins is required, and imperfect humanity can make a perfect payment required by a perfect God. In the illustration Jesus used, it made sense to settle before appearing before the judge. By analogy, we can say that in light of the work of Jesus at the cross, God offers a settlement out of court by putting our trusting love in Jesus and what He did for us on the cross. We need to listen to the call of Jesus, get right with our brethren. Remind us that do not expect perfection in our relationships because we are living in an imperfect world. So forgive the shortcomings. O Holy Spirit, change my heart and my life that I may fully live for you. Help me to choose what is right and to turn away from every sin and from every attachment to worldliness, which keeps me from loving and serving you wholeheartedly.